Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Hypnosis Hero, where I'm joined today by four other hypnotists. That's right. I know our guest is a big fan of WrestleMania. We'll call this Hypnomania, and we're
Oh,
super excited. Thanks a lot for tuning in on this day. It's a doing a special event. We're not doing the Friday at 7:30 p.m. as you may have noticed. We're actually at 1 p.m. Pacific. God knows what hour in the UK, and we are
8
talking
p.m.
with
yeah.
8 p.m.
Well, it's just gone 9 p.m.
Okay.
We're gonna get Grant some kind of a way to tell the different time zones. Um,
Oh,
every time you ask me what time it is where I'm at, but we're joined here by our special guest today. Very special is he's a hypnotist. He's a Vegas headliner, and now Kevin has another title to add to his long resume, and that is author. Not just author, but what? That's right. I like that. I like that. I got to get one of those. Best-selling author. That's right.
Yes.
Best-selling author. Kevin Lepine, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me on. Yeah, I got the notification from Amazon today. I am the #1 new release in hypnosis, and I am ranked either #3 or #4 in bestsellers in the hypnosis category. It is an
boom.
absolute dream come true.
Wow.
But I'm going to step back for a second and talk about something way more important. And this goes to Grant and Jim,
Yeah.
timeanddate.com. Best
Oh,
website ever.
Oh,
Timeanddate.com. It'll show you the time zones everywhere in the world. It'll show you a calendar of every month of every year. It's the greatest utility website ever made.
added to bookmarks.
Yep.
good.
I love that site. Now, having said that, though, to get back to the important thing, yes, Deep Into My Eyes from Victim to Vegas Headliner is officially available on Amazon worldwide. So whatever your Amazon country code is, it is available now.
Awesome.
Hey, we've got a lot of people watching already. We got Susan Gilliam here,
Hi, Susan.
and she is saying, what is she saying? Hey, 4 p.m. there. That's right. Very good. Very good. So, hey, if you've bought the book, let Kevin know over here. Kevin, you've got some special offers for some people that are buying the book in the
Yes.
next
And
little bit of time, right?
I can't see how, I'm sorry, this is my own fault. I can't see how to type into the chat. So if somebody could just put my email in there, which is kevinlepine@gmail.com. When you order the book, email me any sort of a proof of purchase between now and Sunday night, along with your mailing address, and I'll have your email because you just emailed me. But what I will be sending you is a personalized 6x9 postcard of the book cover. So it'll be signed and made out to you. You'll have that to go along with your book, as well as I will email you my 10 MP3 self hypnosis series.
Awesome. That is so cool.
It's just a way of saying thank you for the support. Cindy, thank you so much. I appreciate the congratulations. It's amazing. Hey, Dennis, welcome. Thank you for putting that in, Cindy.
So what was some of the biggest surprises in you in getting to this moment of that actual day of release? I can imagine there's been some anticipation, some excitement, some nerves.
Oh,
What
God,
was your
yeah.
biggest surprise?
So, I mean, so I'm just thanking God and everybody for all the support. I mean, the fact that the book launched the way it did. I will tell everybody who's thinking about writing a book right now, let me give you a couple of secrets. The first is just write. Don't care how bad it is, just write and write and write until you get something you like. Second, it's best if you have a reason to want to do it. The book cover, and this unfortunately is a proof copy. It's not the full retail copy. I'm going to try and just zoom that in a second. So this was the picture that I purchased for the cover of the book, and it's a school of fish all grouped together to chase a shark away. That picture actually inspired the book because that is my story. I was abused and bullied and victimized for many years. And thank God I had an opportunity to restart my life. And the first thing I did was I sought out a community. Because when you're in a community, getting bullied is much more difficult. When you are in a community, it's hard to be mentally bullied because you have a community building you up. It makes all the difference being the right communities. And I talk about how through my life and career, different people in different communities helped elevate me to where I am. Nobody's an island. Nobody succeeds on their own. And the book talks a lot about that, about building that community, why building the community is important. But also, I found out what content editors are, and they're
Mhm.
great because content editors can be friends of yours. What content editors do is they're the people who look at a very rough draft of your book and they start explaining, okay, this made sense, this didn't make sense. You didn't explain who these people
Mm.
were. What is this? What is that? And these are the people who will help consolidate your content to make it a real story. Then once you have the story down, then you hire the editors who go, wow, your grammar is horrible. Let's fix that. Um, then after that, I worked with a small publishing company. Uh, so my book is somewhere between self-published and working with a small publishing company called Personal Dynamic Publishing, which is Ken Owens, who is also a hypnotist. And it was great because Ken, for a very, very, very inexpensive amount, did so much work in
Mm.
order to, well, so this is going to sound really weird, but do you want cream pages for your book or do you want white pages for your book?
Mm.
And the
Yeah.
difference between that is white pages are used in tech manuals,
Mm.
cream are used in fiction and
Mm.
nonfiction books. Do you want a glossy cover? A glossy cover is great for tech manuals. A glossy cover is great for certain things, but it also clashes with cream pages. So if you're going to do
Mm.
cream pages, you have to do a matte. How do you lay out a cover for the size of your book? Are all of the chapter pages on the right hand side of the book when they start? Just 100 little things that stop a book from looking like you did it yourself online
Right.
and it looking like a professional book. Very, very, very useful to do that.
Let me just jump in real quick because I do want to.
Yeah.
I want to comment on that, Kevin, because I do see a lot of books, and a lot of people from our community, well, in coaching sphere and all that,
Hmm.
that are clearly self-published books. And what you're talking about right there, it makes such a difference. Even if you get your cover just professionally done, have and like
Yes.
you said, get even if you have to go on to Fiverr or something like that and get a really cheap editor that who absolutely does. I mean, fixing those grammar mistakes and stuff is just going to make a huge difference in the quality
So,
of
oh
readability.
God. Oh, the editor you definitely need.
Yeah.
Um, by show of hands, who here knows what a future, past, or present tense participle is, and
How
how to
dare you
use
use
it
that kind of language?
properly?
Of course
You know,
not.
but I mean, but
Leave
then
it
that
to the
becomes the
ELA
question.
teacher.
Yep. But then that becomes the question is what tense are you writing it in?
Mhm. And is
What
that
and
consistent?
yeah, and keeping it
The
consistent.
the stress tense. That
Oh
that's
yeah.
that's the tense you're always in, right?
Yes, very much so. Very much when you're writing and going through editing. When you're like, "Oh my god, I thought this was I thought this was good." Um,
Like,
so one of the first pieces of advice that I was given was whatever you do not make your book 8.5 by 5.5
Mm.
because it immediately looks amateur.
Mm.
Mm.
Who knows what 8.5 by 5.5 sizing is?
I
your standard, uh, your standard,
It's a half page.
It's a half
half page
page.
of a
So
legal
what it
doc.
looks like is all it looks like you've done is you've
Oh,
designed it at home cheaply and you've made it that way.
yeah.
So that was one of the first bits of advice is you do not ever make it a half a sheet of paper. You go with the 5 by 8 size, or I went with the 6 by 9.
I was
Uh,
actually a little bit surprised too on how inexpensive it was to have an editor. By the way,
It
um,
really
per
is.
hour,
Yeah. Um,
do it.
I paid we kind of negotiated an hourly slash flat fee. I used a group called the Editing McKennas,
Hmm.
and it's three sisters,
Uh,
and they did great because if one wasn't feeling well, another one was able to pick up the slack and
hmm.
move it along and keep it moving. Plus, they did not want to change my voice.
Yeah.
That was important to all of us, is they wanted my voice to be my voice. I will say that I probably spent about $1,200 editing, but that was for 3 passes.
Mm-hmm.
And pass 1 is here's a chapter, fix the chapter. Pass 2 is, all right, I've done all of the chapters for half the book, run through the first half of the book, and then doing it again for the second half of the book. Third pass, here's the completed book. Let's run through it, make sure we're good. That's what I paid for. And then there was a 4th pass where once I got my proof copy of the book, I handed it to one of the most technically minded human beings I have ever known, and she is wonderful. And she went through it and found 30 mistakes.
Oh,
So it sounds like it's not that it's so much cheap or inexpensive per se, but the value for the investment of your money is certainly there.
right.
So Emily has been telling me over and over that the great joy of me writing a book isn't whether or not it makes the bestseller list. And she's wrong. It's about making the bestseller list. But what she's been telling me, and she's right about this, is if you write a book, that's your legacy. That legacy has the ability to live on far after you.
Yeah. Yep.
If it's your legacy, what do you want it to be? Do you want it to be half-assed? Or do you want to know that you did everything you could to do it right? One of the best pieces of advice I've ever gotten in my career: treat your business like it's business. You'll never wake up one day and be professional. You have to make the choice to be professional. Sometimes you're going to have imposter syndrome trying to do business. That's fine. Just pretend you're the greatest business person from whatever your favorite show is featuring a business person. Be that person when you're handling your business.
Yeah. Act as if, right?
Yes.
Very let's take a look at a very important picture here. Speaking of bestsellers, I wish I could make this easy. I wish I could make this part where you guys could help me with this, but let's see. Hopefully it works out. We're going to the Chrome tab. Let's take a look. Thought I had it ready. Sorry. Here it comes. All right. Can you all see that?
Nope.
The picture? Nope. That's why. Over there. If I was using Be Live, you could.
There we go.
There it is.
Yep.
Looky there.
Yep. As of this morning, I was number 4 in the category, and I was number 1 in new releases. This is literally a dream come true. I am still so confused that I maybe confused isn't the right word. I am honestly emotionally overwhelmed.
I think I have an understanding of why that one book is published twice. And this may be, a pro tip that we may have discovered. If you do a 6x9 book, and then you do like a 10x12, different sizing, one in paperback, one in hardback, you go, all right, I can be number 1 and 2.
And you can do different editions too.
Yep.
Exactly. So
that's just it. Is I don't think he did it for the cover size. I don't think he did it for that reason, because he'd never want to compete with himself. But my guess is, because there's even some printing I'm not seeing that I can't read on the number 2. That's not on the number 3. So my guess is he released an alternate version as well, and that alternate version is selling just as well as the original.
It might be the audiobook.
It could be. No. Okay. Not for bestseller.
Okay. So actually, before I forget, everybody, he's currently at number 4. Let's change that. Go out there, get a copy of the book.
Yes, I am bribing everybody as much as I can.
You're not bribing. Bribing is an ugly word, Kevin. You're incentivizing.
No, it's not. No, it's only an ugly word if you get caught.
Bribery is illegal.
Bribery is only a bad word when it's brought up in a courtroom
and in politics. But
awesome. So if I bring my physical copy to the Performing Hypnosis Summit, is there any chance that you can sign that for me as well and put in a nice little note?
Yep.
Well,
perfect.
Look at that. Very
Oh,
nice.
come on, Grant. You got to hold out. If he
Yep.
comes out, you get to go. You get to make an appearance, and he gets to sign it on stage at one of your
Yes,
shows.
gladly.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, I would love to hit #1 bestseller. I don't know what that's going to take. I have no idea. But I'm very excited for where it is right now. And yes, I will continue to incentivize people all week to purchase copies of the book. Also, once you have the book, there is a link in the book for bonus chapters. There are 2 chapters that did not go into the final copy of the book because we felt that it didn't really progress the story properly. But the chapters are what it takes to get your own show in Las Vegas. And the second chapter is my notes after I had been performing for 1 year.
Interesting.
Oh, that's
Yes.
awesome.
So there's 2 bonus chapters that are available online once you get the book. And the reason we took them out of the book is right now the book is 216 pages, and those 2 chapters were more technical for people who are interested in that, but didn't really explain the story of everything else that I'm trying to communicate with the book.
I could just see Kevin, a year into, performing hypnosis, making his notes. The struggle is effing real.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'll talk a little bit about that. What it really was the main thing that I learned, and unfortunately, this is something that messes with all of us. The main thing I learned after that first year of performing is there are going to be people who don't like your show. And there are going to be people, like I described the sharks in my book, there are going to be people who constantly want to tear you down. And there are some people who only know how to build themselves up by tearing others down. The main thing I learned is that is such a minor thing. That's going to be less than 3% of your life, and they are easily deletable from your life.
Nice.
Spend time focusing on the 97% who support you.
And the people who don't like your show, you already have their money.
No.
You hated my show. Well, you paid for it. I'm sorry.
The people who don't like my show, this is something that I've really also had to learn. I talk about this in the book a lot as well. Is if one person has a complaint, I don't care. No, seriously, some people, there is a restaurant here in Las Vegas. It is a 3 or 4-star Michelin restaurant. It's Joel Robuchon's signature restaurant. It is the highest end of the highest end. And if you look on his review pages, there are people who hate it. If you ever want to just laugh your ass off, look at 1-star Yelp reviews of national monuments.
Oh, yeah. Those are hilarious.
Or national parks.
National parks,
literally complaining that they had to hike to get to their location, that there were no moving sidewalks. There is no elevator that takes them to the top of a mountain.
Yeah.
You learn really quickly to ignore those.
You just talk to Scott King and get Chat GPT to AI respond to that with, hashtag first world problems. Here's that little tiny violin that plays for you.
Except, what if 3 or 4 people have the same legitimate complaint about your show?
Yeah, good point.
What if 3 or 4 people make the same point and you're consistently seeing the same point over and over? Then what?
You've got reliable data to make a change.
That's when you can start looking at something going, okay, I am perceiving this a certain way. How are other people perceiving it? And I will never say to write a show by committee. Art in committee is always crap. What I will say is there are 2 or 3 people that you trust. Have them watch those moments in your show with you. Have them watch it and have them tell you what they think is happening. Even better, there was a video when I first started performing, one of my promo videos. This was when I was at the Hooters Casino. I had to cut a clip out of it. And the clip was of a guy giving birth. And has anybody ever done that in their show?
I haven't.
Okay.
No.
Okay. It can be a really fun routine. And so, the moment the guy's giving birth, I turn 4 or 5 other people into doctors, and they are down there, and helping deliver the baby. Now let's talk about that routine if there's no sound. Yeah, suddenly you're getting this vision of a guy with his legs in the air with somebody else in between his legs, and you don't see exactly what's happening.
You just turned everybody into a proctologist or a colonoscopy expert.
Or a porn. Every once in a while, you got to look at something with a different set of eyes. You have to have somebody who can honestly look at that and go, oh, yeah, that's bad. You're like, well, but I didn't think about that. Right. You thought about it from this angle. Here's this other point of view. What are you going to do about it now? Oh, I'm going to make a change.
So on that note, Kevin, if you ever need somebody to view your work through the lens of an inappropriate adolescent 12-year-old child, I am your guy.
Wonderful. As long as you know your demographic.
Yes.
He really is. He really is your guy.
No, but
Kevin.
Oh, go ahead, Jim. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Brian. Go ahead, Brian.
Oh, I was going to kind of circle back to what you were talking about. Getting some positive feedback or understand how to make, kind of going through your first year, if you will. And I'll kind of make 2 points. One is I can relate that to, me going through airborne school. It's 2 weeks of run around and fall down just in different ways. And you just drill those like emergency procedures and everything like that. And then when something goes sideways in the airplane or in the air, you're like, I don't have to think about it. I just react and I handle business.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a plus. But then when you were talking about, okay, now I've got multiple reviews that are, less than stellar and there's substance to it. You kind of do that, but how can people leave actually constructive feedback where they're saying, hey, I loved your show. Here are a couple of things where I think you missed the mark. And how is it best to give that critique for people that it actually will be received by a performer well?
They can't.
Okay.
And I'm trying to, I want to say this exactly correctly. So, unsolicited advice is always unconstructive criticism, no exceptions.
Okay.
If you are telling somebody what you think they did wrong, and they did not directly ask you for that input, you're an asshole. There's no exception to that rule. You didn't do it to help them. You did it because your ego said you felt the need to tell them something. That is very, very different than when I go, I have a select group of people that I trust, and I'm going to solicit advice from them about this situation. Now, having said that, there are always going to be people who offer you that unsolicited critique, criticism, or what they will call "quote unquote" helpful advice. There is no way to do it if it's not asked for. There's no other way around that.
Is there ever a way to kind of tease that door open a little bit,
Nope.
where it's gently or
no?
Okay.
That is strictly that person's ego saying, "I want to impose my will upon your whatever it is you were doing." If somebody doesn't directly ask you for critique and criticism, then there's no reason to give it. Period.
Interesting perspective. So, thanks for that. I do want to kind of check back in here for a second. So, everybody who's watching right now, please do us a favor. Share this. Share the link to the book. Let's get Kevin up there on number one. And I want to point out something too. The Silva method has been around for like 30 freaking years.
Yeah.
So, pretty hard to compete with that, guys. So
it is.
Let's help. Let's help Kevin do that by sharing the link to the book, share the link to the podcast, and really get this out there. Because one of the things, you're not just helping Kevin. Who else are you helping? If you're a hypnotist, helping all of us, right? Because the more people know about hypnosis, the more people know about hypnosis.
And hopefully too with the book, hopefully it really does gives people some insight on how to build a strong community around them. And how
Yeah.
to use that community to build yourself up. I mean, I talk about so many people in the book. You know, Terry Stokes, Terry Jr., Michael Johns, Richard Nongard, just so many people who offer me so much advice, so many different performers throughout my career. I mean, talk about, the amazing Jonathan being a dear friend of mine and everything that
Wow.
he taught me and guided me through.
Wow.
Same with Harry Anderson. Magicians that I worked with in New Orleans who really helped me. My buddy Tom Britton, who I toured around the country with nonstop for years. And different people who came in and out of my life that offered me just a small opportunity that I was able to turn into something huge. And Brian, I'm sorry if it sounded negative the way I said that about critique.
Oh,
Um,
I asked
but
you.
but but
You gave me a fair
yeah,
answer.
but the other side of that too is, but there are people that you trust. And here
Mhm.
is the best way for you, a performer, to get honest feedback. Videotape your show, but videotape your audience. Videotape 3 or 4 audiences in a row. There's a moment you're trying to fix in your show. Watch what the audience's reaction to that moment is. Are they engaged or are they looking at their phone? You record 3 or 4 shows. If you see a moment where in all 4 shows everybody starts fidgeting, talking to each other, or playing with their phones, that's a moment you need to fix.
No,
Great point.
that's a. I mean, Michael Jordan, I think, was rumored to have watched the most game film in his career.
Oh yeah.
One of the greatest players to ever play the game, and I
Ev-
know about like that much about basketball.
Everyone who I know who really strives for greatness in their show have they're watching their audience, and they have a small group that they go to with a moment and go, what do I do about this moment?
You know,
Because
Kevin,
they're
next time I'm in Vegas, I'm gonna have to take you out to dinner and
please do, please.
just listen to all the amazing Jonathan stories. That's
Oh
There are
man,
so
that
many of
guy.
them.
yeah. We could probably
Oh,
even
I
go
love
turn
that
that into
guy.
breakfast too.
Oh yeah.
Love that guy.
He
Wow.
it's I'm so one of my best friends in this world, William Arundel. He is an LCSW. He wrote the foreword to the book. He has been on the cutting edge of hypnosis since the 90s as well. He's somebody that I have taught with often, and he and I have been friends for high school. And the joke was that while he wrote the foreword for the book, if Jonathan had been alive, he would be writing the backwards for it.
Oh, for sure.
And there have just been so many moments that I just, but there's a lot of people like that who, you miss that person so much at certain different times. Like whenever I find a new restaurant, my first instinct is I want to call Jonathan.
Mm, yeah, he was such a just amazing performer. Wow, I love
Very
that guy. Really.
and a very generous performer to fans and other performers.
Mm,
He always made time.
yeah,
I am beyond honored w- with his friendship and with everything we had been able to do together.
Now,
that's awesome.
do you get recognized in Vegas when you're just out and about, or is it just where people are
Sometimes.
too much in and out, where they're like,
So
okay, yeah, I saw a show and whatever.
so I I don't know, with the exception of Darren Brown, that there is truly a celebrity version of a
Yeah,
hypnotist.
right.
Hmm.
And also celebrity is very, very regional in some respects. Um, but I do know that, when I was walking down the street with Jonathan, somebody would recognize him all the
Ah,
time.
nice.
I know that there have been a few other celebrities that I've hung out with who it's really funny, but they didn't push people away, but
Mhm.
they knew how to not look like them. But when somebody did recognize them, they knew how to be extremely gracious about it. Every once in a while, somebody in Vegas, I'll be walking somewhere and someone will start chanting my name from the show, and I'm like, "Oh, were you guys at the show?" Like, yeah, we came out to the show, or and that's always a fun moment, but a very, very, very small one for me.
So if somebody were to recognize you in Vegas for our guests and everything, what would be the best way and most preferred way to approach you rather than just like run up to you with pen in hand like
Say
they do with
hello.
Jim.
That's it. Just say hello. And I mean, honestly, I will use the best example in Las Vegas.
Mhm.
Arguably one of the most recognizable entertainers in Las Vegas. Who would you guess? Instantly recognizable. You'll recognize them across the room.
David Copperfield.
Possibly. I'll argue Carrot Top.
Well, there's much better
Yeah,
example.
I'll give
Yes,
you that
I'm
one.
just saying,
you can't miss him. You can't miss him.
recognizable across the room. Like
Yeah,
you might elbow your friend and go, "Hey, is that David Copperfield?"
right.
Yeah, I think so. Nobody's ever gone, I wonder if that's Carrot Top.
Yeah, fair point. Fair point.
But I mean, he will gladly, you come up and say hello. He will always acknowledge you and, take a picture, sign, whatever. Just very, very, very kind. The only argument I've ever heard to that with any celebrities here in town is if you see somebody using the restroom, give them a minute. John
So,
Wayne actually gave that advice to an actor. John Wayne told this actor, "You're going to be very, very famous one day. Don't ever wear suede shoes." The guy went, "Why not?" Said, "I just told you you're going to be famous. And one day you're at a urinal and somebody's going to go, 'Oh my God, it's you.'"
And your suede shoes will not be blue.
Yep.
So I've got a kind of an interesting question as such.
Yeah.
A Vegas hypnotist, gone through the trenches, done the work, been out there, lived an interesting life. Is there some stories that you held back that you didn't put in the book? Or is there some chapters in the book that you kind of thought, you know what, I'm nervous about putting that in there, but it wouldn't be the same without it?
Ooh, great question. You
I
can
made
see
a
his
very
brain
conscientious
short-circuiting.
choice. No, I made a very conscientious choice in this book that if somebody was negative in my life, that I would talk about the situation, but I would not name the person.
Hmm.
I don't believe in giving energy to negative people.
Right.
In this book, I wanted to talk about all the people who helped me rise above a shark who did something horrible. I want to talk about all the people who helped build me up to get me over that. So I do talk about a lot of negative things in the book. This is not about how great, I mean, the subtitle sums it up, from victim to Vegas headliner. I'm very, very, very upfront with a lot of the negative things, but I didn't find it important to name somebody if they were negative.
Hmm.
But I sure do mention a lot of people who did a lot of positive things for me.
Nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that was one of my big goals in the book. Is it's a tell-all of my life, but also we've all had negative things happen to us, and we've learned from those negative things and we've grown from it. Is the person who brought that negativity into your life really an important person to you? The situation may have been very important, but I don't think the person was. I think the people who helped me rise above that are the important people.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. Kevin, I understand you have some bonuses that you're giving out. Is there going to be a
Yes.
Kindle? Is there going to be a Kindle version available? Audiobook or anything like that?
So the
Get it.
e-version probably won't be available for 6, 9 months, year. I don't know. I'm
The
really
Kindle
right now
version.
just focused on the paperback version.
Okay.
The audio version, this goes back to what we first started talking about. Treat your business like it's business. If you're going to do it right. There is no way that I can imagine doing the audiobook and it not taking at least 90 to 120 days
Hmm.
Yeah.
to record it and record it properly.
Yeah.
And Sorry, that just sounds so daunting right now.
Yeah.
No,
You
no,
take some
that,
time off from work.
Yes. Yeah, it's just right now that doing that just sounds like a lot.
Yeah.
now for the audio version, if you were to put one out, would you have somebody else read it, or would you be reading it with your voice in your own work?
If I did that, I already know what I'd want to do. The question would be if whether or not I
Morgan
could
Freeman will
get,
accept.
well, no, it's could I get the person who I'm having dialogue with in the book to do the dialogue with me?
Oh,
Oh,
that's an interesting take on it. Yeah, that would
Could
be
I
cool.
also do something where there are addendum chapters? So in the book, there's chapter 12. There's also chapter 12A, me and the person I'm talking about in that chapter having a conversation about that chapter and about if they recall it and what they remember from me at that time.
Ooh, that'd be great.
oh
That would be
yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
What you probably should do is just sit down with a video camera
Hmm.
and like, hey, we're gonna have a couple of cocktails, fire pit in the middle, and just kind of reminisce
Yeah.
and just have a discussion. Not quite between two ferns
Hmm.
style, but actually, and I would just take the audio from that,
Yeah.
edit for content and stuff like that. If you had to chop it up a little bit,
Yep.
I think that would be a very natural sounding one.
But that's also why now you understand that if I'm going to do this, it's going to be a 3, 4, 5 month project to do that right.
Oh, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah. And right now, I could use a break from my story. as, as,
Oh,
as far as reading it again, I mean, I'm really, 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 really proud of this. This is my life. It's a legacy. It's great, but I've had to read this thing so many times, I almost can't read it now
I know you feel.
because it all turns into a giant word salad
Yeah.
because of how much I've had to read, reread, and go back through it.
now, Kevin, I've kicked around writing a book, kind of
Do it.
with my struggle through like the family court system and
Do it.
an ugly divorce,
Hmm.
and reliving a lot of very just dark times and even stuff like I don't like to talk about
Yeah.
a whole lot, just because it sort of takes me
Yep.
back. Did you experience that where you're just like, God, this sucks having to write
Yes.
about it? And how
Yes.
did you push through?
Um, because the pain, the tragedy, and all of that led to a victory.
Mm.
Okay.
And I did have to talk about um, probably there was one chapter that I had to write about, and it was about a girlfriend that I lived with when I was 24, and how we got into a fight,
Mhm.
and I came back the next morning and I found her body.
Whoa.
She had killed herself,
Wow.
and the
Wow.
effect that that had on me
Mhm.
and the world around me, but also how to write about that without sensationalizing it either.
Mm.
I did not want to sensationalize or glamorize any of that, but I wanted to talk about the incident that happened, and here's how I grew from that incident.
Now, did you and Mrs. Lepine have conversation about, hey, there's going to be some stuff in my past that we're kind of bringing essentially to the public, if you will.
Yeah,
And how did it
she
take?
she
Did
is
it take
she
a
is
fair amount of?
nonstop. She is nonstop applauded me for my bravery and my willing to be open and honest about it all.
Dude, you've got an awesome woman. She's a
She
keeper.
is amazing. She is the best part of me. Um, and surprisingly, she has told me over and over that her favorite chapter in the book is not the chapter that I read about her. But she's definitely improved my life a thousandfold by being in it. I'm very, very lucky to have her.
Nice.
No, that's awesome.
And so, aside from everyone, obviously, should read this book, who are the people that really, really need to read this book?
Anybody who's struggling. Um, and first of all, I'll say that to any of the people in our performing world, maybe this will help provide you with a blueprint for how to grow. because I do talk a lot about that, about how I grew from one place to another, to another, to another, to another, to another. But also, I am not shy about my mental illnesses in this book. I'm not shy about my depression. I'm not shy about my suicidal thoughts. I'm not shy about, the mental things that I have that have held me back, that I've had to grow from. And hopefully people who have those same kind of struggles will be able to read parts of the book and go, okay, well, you know what? Maybe I should do something similar. Will, who wrote the foreword, also included great resources. We have a resource page in the back too, if you find yourself going through some of these different traumas, of places to reach out to and to get help.
Excellent.
Plus, I would also like to point out, partial proceeds from all of the book sales is going to a group called Kids Uplifting Kids, which is a charity here in Clark County, Nevada, dedicated to helping kids in the foster system.
Oh, that's great.
Brilliant.
That's great.
Brilliant.
Kevin, I know you've got to run. You've got a busy day today.
We've got so much going on today, but I am so glad to share this time with you. I really, really appreciate you all being part of a community that has helped build me up and helped me to achieve everything I'm in and everything I'm doing. I couldn't do it without the support of everyone. So thank you.
Yeah. Same here.
I
Same
think
here.
I've got the.
Awesome.
You've got some. You've already done a book signing today. You've got one coming up.
No, the book signing is tonight.
Tonight. Fantastic.
So
Good luck with that.
I
Thank
put the link up on the screen. Is that
Yes.
okay? So
Yep.
Kids with a Z.
Yep. KidsUpliftingKids.org.
Yeah.
They are a fantastic
Great.
organization. They do not pocket any money. They are just trying to, because you can't donate directly to the foster care system. So people in the foster care system will reach out to this charity and go, hey, this person needs this. And they do
Wow,
their
what a
best to
great-
accommodate.
So they're kind of the filter to make sure that monies
Yeah.
aren't embezzled, squandered, stuff. Okay, that's awesome.
I can tell those kids in foster care, they really need help too. So
They
thanks
really
for doing
do.
that.
And I am so fortunate. I was in foster care for 1 month. My birth parents put me up for adoption when I was 5 months old. I was put into my mom's arms on Christmas Eve when I was 6 months old. I am
Wow.
a miracle story.
Ah,
And so because of that, if I can give back to that system, I'm glad to.
that's fantastic. So I want to let everybody know that Kevin's going to be back on Hypno News tomorrow, 5 p.m. We're going to talk about some different stuff, maybe dive even deeper into his story.
And for everybody watching, come up with questions between tonight and tomorrow. Have
Mhm.
questions. I will answer anything and everything I can for you.
Yeah, grab the book, guys. Again, please support Kevin and his work here. Helps us all. Share the links. Thanks
you.
a lot, Kevin. Really appreciate you being on here.
Thank you so much for having me on, guys. I really appreciate it.
No,
Thanks
thanks
for-
for writing the book, man.
Thank
That's
you.
Cheers.
awesome.
Yeah,
And
good luck with
congratulations.
everything. Good luck with the book signing and that. And yeah, well done.
Thank you so much. And we'll see everybody in February live.
Yes. That's right, everybody. Kevin's going to play a big part in that in the performing hypnosis summit. So be sure to come out and get his book signed. Get the book signed. He won't be signing any iPads. Okay, so
Well, I would, but
Yeah.
all right. Take care, everybody.